I hug him, and I'm like, you did it, dude. I almost cried right there. I'm like, you did it.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. We got myself and Trent Ryan, which amazingly was just the show for 2 or 3 years or so. It was just the show. And happy Halloween. I was doing a little bit of math. We're doing a Sunday recording, but when this bad boy comes out, it'll be the spookiest day of the year. It'll be Halloween. So happy Halloween to everybody out there.
Happy Halloween to everybody out there. Did you dress up this last weekend? Because it feels like with it being on a Tuesday that people dress up the weekend before. Did you dress up as anything?
It was a big Saturday dress up, it felt like, and a lot of parties going on instead of people being like out and about at bars. I did not dress up. I'm trying to think about the last time that I actually did dress up. It's really not even that I'm against dressing up. I feel like we travel so much that Halloween sneaks up on me every year. And I would really like to be prepared if I'm going to dress up. And next thing you know, it's like Friday, everybody's dressing up Saturday. I got nothing. Did you dress up, Trent?
No, and I am embarrassed to admit that once upon a time, I was the kind of guy who was anti-dressing up on Halloween. Your late teens or early 20s, you're just about like, sometimes you're just against something and you don't know why. Now I'm completely into it. And I don't dress up. I haven't dressed up in years, but I don't care when people dress up. Like I was in New York City last night in the city, grabbing a couple drinks with Feidelberg and Nate Dogg, and people were dressed up like crazy. A lot of Barbies. A lot of Barbies, I would say, was the number one thing that I saw. But I didn't dress up. But again, I'm at a point now in my life where I've matured and I'm not against it. I just don't participate.
I had a crazy incident at Isabella's Kitchen at Greyhawk last night. I had a big Greyhawk weekend. I got the Greyhawk hat on. I'm feeling it. Alistair's in town. Spent quite the weekend with our friend Alistair Doherty. But I'm up at Greyhawk at Izzy's after a little round of golf last night. And in walks an outfit of basically a guy decked up fully in Masters caddy outfit with the full white bib and the name on the back. And the name on the back says Immelman. And I'm a moron. So I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. I just saw this guy walk by and he was dressed up as a couple with his significant other. And they went over to, have a drink. And about an hour later, we were getting ready to leave. And I said, I cannot leave unless I go take a picture of that guy and text it to Trevor, because we text and talk to Trevor all the time. And I go over there and I say to the guy, hey, I hate to be weird, but is there a way I could just take a picture from the back of like your costume? And I happen to know Trevor. I'd love to send it to him. And he didn't really give me an immediate yes and was kind of like, well, how well do you know Trevor? And I was like, I'm not going to say he's like my best friend, but I know him decently well. I'd say we're friends. And it turns out this guy was Trevor Immelman's caddy that caddied for Trevor Immelman. And he's caddied for Sergio Garcia in the Ryder Cups. He caddied for Ernie Els. He was on the bag for Trevor Immelman when he won the Masters. And of course, I'm an idiot. I'm in Scottsdale. There's golfers everywhere like this, caddies everywhere. It's this is part of the culture here. And like, who else would have a Trevor Immelman caddy Masters, outfit jumpsuit other than probably his caddy? So I just chatted for like a half hour with this guy, and he was Trevor Immelman's fucking caddy.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to pick Trevor Immelman's caddy out of a lineup. There's no way. Definitely don't even know the guy's name. And maybe you're just a big Trevor Immelman fan. It would take a pretty big leap for me to be like, oh, there's a guy in a Trevor Immelman Masters caddy outfit. I bet that's Trevor Immelman's caddy. And it's Halloween, so he's not dressed up as something. He's dressed up as something that he was. The idea of Halloween is to dress up as something that you're not.
Yeah, true. And I could tell too from the beginning, he was like, his name is Neil Wallace, and he was the man. And I ended up getting his number because he's like, how do you know Trevor? I was like, we do this podcast. And he was actually like, I would, if you'd be interested, like I would come on the show. I've never really talked about this stuff. And I could tell I could tell throughout his day, he had kind of had to be talked into wearing this thing. And he had said like, he's like, I haven't worn this since, and I feel a little bit ridiculous, but my girlfriend or wife, I can't remember exactly who, she was very nice, was really like, you should dress up. Why don't you just wear your Masters thing? That's a great outfit out there. So I could tell when I like pointed it out and put him on the clock about it, he was like, Jesus Christ. Like I legit didn't want to this thing. And we ended up in a great chat.
I mean, it would be like me walking around in a black shirt, khakis, and a piece of luggage. I will say that. And I have a question. Was it the official Masters caddy outfit?
Oh yeah. And I said,
that's cool.
I said, I didn't know you guys get to keep those. He goes, you usually don't. he was like, when you win the Masters, everything happens. And he's like, I can't remember if I just we were celebrating and I didn't change out of it for so many hours that next thing I know, it was just with me. I don't remember everything, but he's like, most of the time you don't. I happen to have mine because we won the Masters that year. I was like, holy shit.
Did you FaceTime Trevor or anything?
I texted a picture to Trevor right away, and he goes, boom, is that you? And then I was like, it's your boy, Neil Wallace. And he was like, absolutely love that guy. Buy him a drink. And we went back and forth. So Trevor was all fired up. But Trevor also was in the same boat where he's like, who's wearing that? Is that your outfit? Which would have been cool. And then I felt like, oh, shit, I probably should have gone. You know?
I don't think he's supposed to have that caddy bib. That's going to be my guess. But I'm glad that he has it.
That might be, that might have been some of the, again, because it was not just an immediate like, oh, I'm glad you like my outfit. Why don't you, take a picture. It'd be funny. Send it to all your friends. It was very much like, oh shit, this is kind of the one thing I didn't want to happen here. So, no, I did not dress up. We're going to be in the Dominican Republic. That's where Casa De Campo is, right? Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
We're going to be there Monday. So yesterday, if you're listening to the show, through Thursday, filming a bunch of stuff at Casa De Campo, Teeth of the Dog. There's 3 courses there. There's the links course, and then the other one is the die Fore or something like that I was looking at online that look amazing. So I like to go in pretty blind and be surprised as much as I can when we get to these golf courses. But I was thinking about it when this comes out, Halloween, the whole deal will be in the Dominican. But we haven't really done many trips to like resorts that aren't pretty hardcore just golf resorts. Like when we go to Ban and we go to Sand Valley, we go to these places. Those are like golf. It's golf. That's pretty much it. We're going to this resort where, I mean, we got one thing on the schedule that's like an afternoon beach club experience. And it feels it's quite funny that the fellows are just going down to get like pampered at the spa on the beach a little bit while we play some golf.
I'm very excited about it because I don't know how much of it makes it into the videos, but at these places like Sand Valley and Bandon, your boys' dogs are barking by the end of day 2.
Yeah.
And I just, because they're walking courses, the resorts are great, the golf is great, the courses are great, everything is great except me. I'm out of shape, so it's really a knock against me. So now that we're going to a place where I do believe we're going to be pampered to a degree, we're going to have carts. I think we can take the carts pretty much everywhere. I'm very, very excited about it. It feels strange. We're going to be there Monday through Wednesday, basically the middle of a week. We're going to be in the Dominican Republic. We're going to be treated like kings. We're going to play a bunch of golf. We're going to shoot a bunch of videos. At some point, I'd like to get a massage, maybe 2. And I'm just ready to enjoy myself. I think it's a good mix. I mean, we do go to the Bandons, we go to the Sand Valleys, places where it's like you wake up, you play 36 holes, you eat a piece of meat, and you go to bed, and you do the same thing the next day. Like that is kind of the deal at places like Bandon. That's how I felt at Bandon. It was like wake up, you just golf a lot, and then you eat and you go to bed, which is great. There's a lot of people who love to do that. These places are incredibly successful, and they're booked out for like 2 years. I like going on the other end of the spectrum as well, and going to the Dominican Republic that I imagine is going to be beautiful. I believe it's going to be a beach paradise. I feel like I'm going to be in sandals a lot more than I usually am. I think I'm going to be wearing a bathing suit. I think I'm probably going to get into the ocean at some point. It's just going to be a very different trip, which I think is important. This whole travel series, the original idea was just go to different places, see them, promote them, and hopefully people watching will go, man, I think me and my buddies would have a good time there. Let's book something there. So whether you're into the Bandons or the Sand Valleys where it's all golf, or you're potentially into something a little bit more pampered where you're going to the Dominican Republic, we got a little bit of everything for everybody is what I'm trying to say.
Trent, maybe like a beach volleyball game breaks out, maybe a little, I'm an underhand serve guy. I kind of have a mean underhand beach volleyball serve. I never got to that point where I could do the overhand consistently enough. So I wouldn't mind firing some low underhand serves at people, but I imagine there could be some cornhole on the beach. And you are right. Like we kind of on a lot of those trips, the Sand Valleys, the Bandon Dunes, which are great, we kind of turn into like animals. We like wake up, shove a breakfast sandwich down your pie hole. You kind of like march around all day outside and your feet get hurt and you're really just existing to get another piece of meat and then like rest and then do it again. And this is going to be, I think a lot of this is going to make it in the video. I think people we're going to get different kind of dinners, beach, sunset. So yeah, I'm very excited. We're going there. That's why we're kind of recording on Sunday. Chevrolet has over 1,900 certified EV electric vehicle dealerships and over 5,550 EV trained technicians. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of effort that they've put into the electric vehicle game. They've been doing it for a decade. you're not in the electric vehicle game, you need to be when your next lease is up, when you're looking to buy your next car. Go to Chevy.com/electric. They've been in the electric vehicle game for over 10 years. They have the knowledge and the skills to sell or service a Chevy EV. We love going to Chevy.com/electric.
Just check it out. Even if you're like, I don't know how interested I am in an electric car. I don't know. I've never had one. I'm not used to it. Go to the website, check it out, peruse a little bit. Like you said, if your lease is up, just keep all your options open, and maybe you'll fall in love with one and be like, oh my gosh, that's electric. Oh my gosh, reasonably priced. Oh my gosh, I'm going to save this much money on gas. Just give it a chance.
I'm looking on this website right now. This website is Chevy.com/electric. I'm looking at the Bolt EV, the Bolt EUV. I'm looking at what's upcoming here, available starting in the fall of 2023, which is right now. The Equinox EV, which they got this one right here in that matte blue, which is just incredibly sharp. They got this Blazer EV in this hot red. It looks like Tiger Woods about to win a golf tournament out there. And then they got this Silverado EV that's in that matte blue as well. So amazing options over there at Chevy. Jump on this link right here, Chevy.com/electric, and learn more about the Chevy EV game. I kind of jumped into this little stream here, or not a stream, recording. And you and Alex Busch were going at each other because Alex Busch is one of the more detached from reality people when it comes to his relationship with the Buffalo Bills, and just admitting that the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen are what they are. And it sounds like some sort of Mahomes and Josh Allen thing that you guys were kind of getting into. Is that correct?
Well, I like to give him shit because I like to say that you can't win with Josh Allen, whether that's true or not. Which they're 5-3, I think, right now, so it's less true than it is true at some points. But I like to give him shit, and he freaks out because he's like, "Oh my God, Mahomes gets all this coverage. He does one look away pass, and ESPN is a top 10 on SportsCenter all 10 slots. They can't stop talking about him."
That's such a butthurt fan reaction to something.
And he was trying to sell me on like, no, I actually like Patrick Mahomes, but it's the media who treats him in such a way that makes me not like him.
Yeah, okay.
And he doesn't seem to understand that the reason he gets treated that way, Patrick Mahomes, is because he's won 2 Super Bowls and is currently on a path where, if he executes it in the right way, will be maybe the best quarterback of all time. He's got a long way to go. I know people are going to freak out about that. He's got 2 rings. He's got a long way to go, but he'll at least be like a top 5, top 3 quarterback of all time if he wins a couple more rings and continues to put up the numbers that he has. Josh Allen has no rings. I can't speak to his playoff success exactly, but he has not won a Super Bowl. I do know that. So he's not going to get treated the same as a Patrick Mahomes. I just need Alex Busch to understand that. And he doesn't.
There had to be a difficult couple minutes for you to stay silent there. We'll now allow you to, chime in. Please go ahead.
No, I would say this came from me trolling Trent by sending him a tweet that he clearly just ignored because he knew he was wrong.
I was busy doing something. I can't remember.
What's up? Yeah, sure you are. And you're bringing up points that have nothing to do with what I was saying, but I don't even know how we got into Patrick Mahomes, because he's obviously one of the best quarterbacks of all time already, and that's not what I'm saying. What I was saying, and I don't even know how we got to this, is that he could through the preseason, he had a throw where he was running out of bounds and made a throw that was literally an incomplete pass in the preseason, and is the only thing I saw on my Twitter timeline for an hour. My point was, Josh Allen makes throws running out of bounds, scoring touchdowns, and it's just like no one cares. Patrick Mahomes throws it 2 yards, he's underhand, and it's like, holy shit, no fucking way he did that. That was my point.
But he to the Super Bowl champ go the replay spoils, is what I'm trying to say. It's like,
that's right. If Tiger, it's similar. If Tiger Woods makes a putt on the practice green where he walks it in a little bit early, we tweet it and go nuts over everything. If Patrick fucking Cantlay does that, nobody on planet Earth cares, and it's not going to get showcased over and over and over again. And you have to understand that, like Trent said, with the Super Bowl rings come the spoils of replays and such.
Yeah, but we've seen it since his first year before he even won a Super Bowl. When he got brought in and he was having an unbelievable year, things would happen. He would throw it underhand or throw it as he's running out of bounds, and the same shit would happen. Obviously, it's extended greatly now that anything he does is crazy. But my point is, Josh Allen makes some unbelievable plays, and the only people going crazy are lunatics like myself That's all.
I do.
That's
think,
all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And I've been watching
Okay,
football
fair.
my whole life, but I don't think people have done the things that Patrick Mahomes can sometimes do, like the look away passes.
No.
And no, I mean the look away passes I really did feel like Patrick Mahomes invented that. Like what other quarterback in history is doing look away passes? I honestly couldn't.
Josh Allen does it. Josh Allen does it.
Well, then
he does
he's
he does going out of bounds. I'll send you some links.
No, here's my you just made my point. You when you're watching Patrick Mahomes, you're watching an innovator. And when you're watching Josh Allen, you're watching a copycat. He is copying the things that Patrick Mahomes is doing. Listen, if Josh Allen wants to come up with a behind the back pass that Mahomes has not done, I will give him credit. But as of right now, he is tracing on the lines that Patrick Mahomes originally drew.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes isn't the first person to ever not look down his receiver or to throw it running out of bounds.
No, dude. This is a podcast that's listened to by a lot of people, and I'm going to have people in my mentions being like, this guy did it, this guy did it. If they did do it, then I'm just ignorant to that, and I haven't seen it. But the way that Patrick Mahomes does it, I feel like he is a one of one.
Well, yeah, and to do it consistently and on the highest
at the highest level.
stage,
Yeah.
at the highest level, and to be doing it while you were the best team, winning Super Bowls and all that. I'm sure you find clips of random quarterbacks over the years doing it here and there, but it's like part of his repertoire. He does it all the time, and they win. So yeah, look, the Bills are in those games. I mean, the game 2 years ago, the infamous one where the Bills should have won in whatever 14 seconds.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. What?
I was on the Bills heavy. I wanted the Bills. I'd wagered on the Bills to win. I love the Bills. I'm not a Kansas City guy. We have a rivalry with Kansas City, being from St. Louis, the whole deal. We're not like we love Kansas City down here. So you just can't really usually respond. This was a measured response by you, actually, and I was pretty impressed because sometimes you could be quite a lunatic when it comes to discussing these things. All right, moving on. Halloween, the whole deal. Devastating news: celebrity death, Matthew Perry. That when that one came down, that was absolutely just gut wrenching. It's a huge part of your childhood. I was going back through and looking because a bunch of sites were doing the Matthew Perry's history with getting into Friends and his comments on wanting to be famous. I couldn't believe Friends started in 1994. For whatever reason, I was thinking it was later than that. I was thinking it was 98, 99, and then like through the 2000s, almost closer to like The Office's run. 1994 it started in that was stunning to me. Did you think it was later?
It is. It kind of ran parallel to Seinfeld, right? I think were they on at the same time? I guess those are very 90s shows. But yeah, I mean, a devastating loss. Having that come across your radar. We were at the bar last night and it ripples through and you're just like, what's going on? Who died? 54 years old. I will admit I'm not the biggest Friends guy. I don't dislike it, but I'm more on the Seinfeld side than I am a Friends guy. I just haven't watched as much Friends, but I'm also not ignorant to the fact that Matthew Perry was very, very funny as Chandler Bing on that show. And it's iconic. And he's obviously been through his own struggles. Matthew Perry, he wrote a book. I've been seeing a lot about that today. It's just very sad, man. 54 years old. It is one of those deaths where when it happens, you just got to take a second and be like, that's fucking crazy that's going on.
Couldn't believe it when, when it said he was just 54. It's like, dude, that is young. And then I was like, that was him, right? That was doing the memoir thing like last year where he was doing the rounds and he was talking so much about his mental health. And there was a lot of kind of viral clips that were getting some juice about it. And you're like, oh my God, there's Chandler Bing, and he's out there as a middle-aged guy now who's kind of talking through his struggles. And like, I like, you always rooted for Chandler. It's like, he was like such a likable, beloved figure, and then just to see that, and he's like cardiac arrest, and then while he was in a hot tub, and so he drowned or something along those lines.
I haven't seen any details. I mean, I saw that he drowned. I don't know what the details are. I feel like we probably won't know for a couple of weeks is how these things usually go. But yeah, I mean, he was also in one of my favorite movies that does not get talked about because it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's Almost Heroes, where he is acting alongside one of my favorite people in history, Chris Farley. And it's a Lewis and Clark sort of like, I actually watched it like 6 months ago just because, and again, it's not The Godfather. It's not like a cinematic masterpiece, but to a guy like me who loves Chris Farley and Matthew Perry, just comedically is incredible. And again, people who watch Friends know that he's very funny, but just overall, he's a very, very funny individual in everything that he's in. And now I love that movie, and I just watched it recently. So yeah, having both those guys be gone is just what you just watch things differently now. People across the world are watching Friends today, and they're like, it just feels different now. I remember that with when Robin Williams died, and it's just one of those deaths that it sort of shifts the way you watch the things that you've been watching forever. Something that's your comfort show. You're like, this is never going to change. I'm going to watch these Friends in this apartment, and it's always going to feel the same. And that's what I love about it. But then something like this, a tragic death happens, and it shifts it just a little bit. It makes you love the show even more, but it just makes you watch it a little bit differently.
Yeah, it was almost I was pretty similar probably to you with Friends. I liked Friends. I kind of knew that it was a cheesy version of like TV comedy, and it almost always felt more to like kind of a background watch where it's like you could check in and out at any moment and it'd still be just as funny. It wouldn't really lose much. But I loved Friends. We liked Friends in our household. The whole the song was like as iconic as it gets. It feels like,
Yeah.
and it was such a timeless show too. In that, like you're saying, it felt like those 6 people and the whole premise of the show was like they actually weren't like they weren't moving forward through life. They weren't like getting married and moving out of the city and having kids and having a home and like becoming independent with this new family. They were like doing the thing in New York as like 6 friends for a decade, and it was like they were basically the same people by year 9 as they were kind of by year 1, and that made it feel like time kind of stood still. And so then to see one of the main characters die, it's like it's really almost like like a like a benchmark in your life of like, oh, I'm old, like I'm just old. People from Friends
Right.
can pass away at this point. Like that's just not supposed to happen. It's like I'm supposed to be a teenager watching Friends or whatever. So yeah, it was devastating. I felt that way with like Bob Saget, where it was just
Yeah.
kind of that's part of that era, which is so culturally important. And it was in like in the 90s too. It was that era where like you didn't really have many choices. That was like if those shows were on TV, they were on. There was a new episode when there was a new episode, and everybody watched it and talked about it. There was no social media. It was like you talked about it in real time with your friends, or people talked about it at the office that were older. We talked about it at school because like there were a handful of options, and that was it. You couldn't stream and watch this, that, watch it whenever you wanted, binge watch. They were just out when they were out, and they were important in culture. So, anyways, that was a dagger. That was an absolute dagger. I saw.
No, Friends is arguably like the most popular, and I would popular might not be the right word, but like known show. Everyone knows what Friends is. Like it's not like you're saying there were not a ton of options. So it was Friends, and again, Seinfeld was huge, but it felt like Friends hit more people. Like I know more people in my life that watched Friends than watched Seinfeld. It's a touch point for so many people. I do want to say this is the first like big shocking celebrity death that has happened since I've been on TikTok, and I got to get off that app, dude. It's again, this is a background thing to what's actually happening in this situation, but for me, it's just like a sadness dump where it's everything I swipe on. It's Matthew Perry doing this, it's Matthew Perry doing that, it's tributes to Matthew Perry, which again are lovely and they're beautiful, and I'm glad that people are doing them. But my algorithm has decided that it's time for Trent to really feel this Matthew Perry death. And there's ones where the Friends theme music is slowed down, so it's kind of and it's black and white, and I'm just like, man, this one's really hitting me. Like if this had existed when again Robin Williams died or Mac Miller died, or like the death just feels like it's really in my face to the point where I got to put the TikTok down and just step away from it for a little bit because it's tough.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I'm still not on the TikTok phase. I get looped in on Instagram more than anything, and just kind of the reels there and whatever, but I can escape it. Whereas TikTok, and it's almost just like for that reason that you just said. I know I have an addictive personality. It's almost like when you're younger and it's either like cigarettes or chewing or drinking or whatever. It's like I'm sure that's awesome, but I know it could be bad for me, so I'm going to stay away from it. And that's kind of how I feel about TikTok.
It's kind of replaced when I take the train into the city right now, it's like an hour and 15 minutes. TikTok has largely replaced listening to music, which is just not healthy. I don't think that's
amazing.
My neck's like this. I'm gonna in 10 years, I'm not gonna have a neck. I'm just gonna be like a freak show because I've been watching so much TikTok. That might be the whole next generation. Just a bunch of freak shows with no neck because we all like we got addicted to booty shaking or whatever brings you in, it's such a dopamine drip that it's dangerous, and I just gotta figure out my way around it.
Yeah, like this, like becoming a chiropractor would be an incredibly lucrative move
Oh
in the
my God.
next 10, 15 years. Everybody's
Dude, I
gonna
went
have
to a
that.
chiropractor and he said the same thing that we're saying. Like the invention of the cell phone, the smartphone, these apps that people can't get enough of, even Twitter and Instagram. But then when you bring in TikTok, which is like those things times a billion, he's like, oh, it's a great time to be a chiropractor. We're gonna have a generation of people whose necks are so fucked up because they looked at their phones 11 hours a day. Yeah, again, this if you're a young person and you don't know what your future is going to be, you're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't really like anything that much, but I want to do something that's going to have a future. Be a chiropractor. It's going to be a gold mine in 10 years.
It is still October, barely, but the holidays are coming up fast, which I haven't even really considered yet. The holidays are coming up.
Oh man, Halloween is sort of the precursor for we're getting launched into Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of them.
We are getting launched. It's a good
We
way to
are.
put it. Before your life goes into overdrive with the holidays, protect your home with Simply Safe Home Security. You can get a brand new system today for 40% off. Experts love Simply Safe. It was named the best home security system of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. Simply Safe is comprehensive protection for the whole home with advanced sensors that detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more, plus HD cameras for both inside and out. I have those at the Piners house. They're fantastic. You can check them in on them on the app any moment that you would like to. They're awesome. Simply Safe, powered by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. That's half the cost of traditional home security. So for a limited time, save 40% on any new system with a fast protect plan. Visit simplysafe.com/foreplay. That's simplysafe.com/foreplay. I haven't been to a chiropractor in probably 10 or 15 years.
I did it for the first time 10 months ago, and it's just really extreme back cracking, which sounds obvious, but I crack my back all the time. I crack my neck all the time. They can just get in there in a way that you can't do it to yourself. And I don't know if I felt okay after. I didn't feel like, oh my God, my life has changed. But I also, and this is coming from Frankie because we actually go to the same chiropractor. He thinks it's a scam already where they are helping you, but they're also creating a dependency on wanting to feel the way you feel after a chiropractor. So it's like, all right, I'm going to go in once, kind of get realigned, get readjusted, and I'm going to be done with it. And he thinks that they're moving your body in a way where it's like, to get that feeling, you got to go back in.
Yeah, there's been some pretty deep conspiracy theories about the chiropractic game. And chiropractors don't they have kind of a weird there's like a niche of the I don't know if it's like the medical community or just the general community of people that are like anti-chiropractors. I feel like that's a thing.
I think that community exists. Yeah. I think they think it can like really fuck you up.
That would be stunning that we've allowed this profession that's pretty dominant, like, and prominent and around to exist if it was really just messing people up all the time. And one of my good friends growing up from high school, nicest kid in the world, became a chiropractor. So I feel like if he was in his studies and in the process of becoming a chiropractor and he caught wind of this phenomenon where what is the a chiropractor does what?
I know. I was trying to think of that when I was talking about something when we started this, and it's not like chiropractic-y.
That can't be it. Where this profession was scamming everyone. My friend, his name is Jason. He would have told on the world of chiropractic, whatever the hell it is. He would have told on people, so we would know at this point. So
are you? This is a guy who's in the business. He could be in on the conspiracy. He's like, we're making money, hand over fist, readjusting people's spines.
He would have blown that whistle. He would have blown that whistle before he was too dependent on it. I have full faith in that. I hope we can get like a massage down at Casa De Campo. I think that would be really nice, like maybe a calf, little leg action.
When was the last time you got a massage, you think?
I got my first massage in probably 15 years about 2 weeks ago at the Pinehurst Spa. And first time I'd gone in and I drive by it quite a bit. It's like over by the Carolina Hotel. and it says big letters, Pioneer Spa. Every time I drop by, I think like it's crazy that I'm just here and I never go in there and get a massage. So I went in on a Friday morning, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and got a massage. And they had pumpkin spiced flavored oil, and that the masseuse was using for this 1 hour massage that I had. And she said at the beginning, like, yeah, I don't know if you looked on your sheet, but we are offering this pumpkin like spice like massage oil. Is that what you would like to go with? And I said, that's absolutely what I would like to go with. I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds incredible. And Trent, it was the rest of the day I was just going around smelling my arms and stuff because from this massage.
Pumpkin spice has just, I mean, people make jokes about it every year where it's like, oh, pumpkin spice lattes are back. You get a pumpkin spice candle. You can get pumpkin spice Oreos. You can get pumpkin spice whatever. I have never heard of pumpkin spice massage oil. They've just infiltrated every single market you can imagine.
It was a stunning moment. And again, this was 2 or 3 weeks ago, so we were still early. We're kind of late in the fall, and it's already going to be Halloween and the whole deal. But at the moment, I don't really do the pumpkin spice latte coffee whole thing. So this was my only real experience with pumpkin throughout this fall season, and it was just delightful. Massage is one of the more underrated things in society, that you could just pay someone to just give you a professional massage and make your body feel a trillion times better. I will say that for about, I don't know, 75% of the massage, I was in that trance almost where I was probably 80% asleep, but not asleep, and like my eyes were closed, my heart rate was low, I wasn't moving, but I was like technically conscious and awake.
You know what happens to me when I get a massage, and I wish it wouldn't happen, and it's because of the reason you're saying, where I'm mostly asleep and I will start drooling on the floor. You got your face in the donut where they do it, and I'm like, again, I'm barely conscious, and I just start drooling on the floor. And it's like, I wish this weren't happening. And the person's always very nice. They don't even mention it, but I'm sure they're like, look, this fucking idiot is drooling all over my floor. But it's really a compliment to them. I'm saying, I'm so relaxed right now. You have me on the edge of sleep and I'm going to drool on your floor. But I'm with you. Massages are, I almost want to get one every day. I mean, it would not be financially responsible. I don't think I could pull that off for that long.
It's reckless spending for sure.
But I that's almost a goal of mine, that I want this thing of ours to get so big and so successful, and we all make so much money that I can get a massage every single day. That, to me, that's a life goal, because massages feel so good. And I went a good stretch without getting them. I used to get one after every football season. My mom would buy me one, which was very nice of her. She's like, here, you made it through another football season. Here you get a massage. Your brain may be ruined for the rest of your life.
What a carrot for you to just be chasing all year long.
I'm not kidding. I would be in my mind like a Tuesday practice when I'm just like, I hate this. Now, I spent a lot of my football career, especially during practices, being like, I hate this. I did not enjoy practice whatsoever. I didn't enjoy lifting. I enjoyed none of the parts that required discipline. I only enjoyed the parts where I got congratulated for it, which were games where you get on the field, you play really well, and you win, and it feels really good. Everything else I hated. So at the end of the year, I was always like, I'm going to get a massage. My mom's going to get it for me. This is going to be great. And it was always, always, always great. And then I went a long time without getting one, a couple decades, even a decade and a half. And I started getting them again, man. They're good. They're really, even a bad massage, it's a little bit like pizza in that way, where even the bad massages are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I would say a drool-inducing massage is undoubtedly a good massage. I think that's like a rating.
And I don't think it takes me that much to get there. Like, I think I just lay there and I'm like, oh, this is kind of the position I'm in when I sleep. And then all of a sudden you start rubbing my shoulders and my back, and it's like, oh, I got drool on the floor.
When you get a haircut and they run the clipper on like the back right and back left of your neck. My friend in college, Alex, who was this played on the soccer team. He was this little Asian dude, and he was one of my best friends in college. And he just had a thing where whenever he would get a haircut, the minute they would do that, he would just fall asleep 100% of the time.
Dude, That does feel incredible. And I'm glad that, what was this, your friend's name again?
Alex.
Alex brings up a great point, because I'll tell you what, I got a haircut just the other day. We're going on a trip, so I want to get a haircut. My favorite part of a haircut, and sometimes it doesn't happen, but when it does, it's my favorite part. They'll trim up the back part, right? Obviously, they want to make like a line or whatever. They'll trim that up, which that feels pretty damn good too. Around the ears feels good. All that stuff for me is pretty good. And then sometimes they'll take off, I'm going to call it a cape. They'll take off the cape. And it'll
the haircut cape. Yep.
The haircut cape. I have little hairs like kind of down my neck, pretty far down, kind of where it meets my shoulder. And sometimes they'll hit that, sometimes they won't. But when they hit that, it's just as good as a massage. I'm like, I don't know. I never asked for it because I don't want to be a weirdo. But I'm like, oh yeah, I probably got a little bit of hair down there. And when they hit it, I'm with Alex on that one. I don't fall asleep, but I feel good.
So we had another buddy who would give haircuts. Our friend Ryan, he would give haircuts, and he would be like, every 100% of the time I give Alex a haircut, he just falls asleep. It's like so good. But I do know what you're talking about. They fold the cape kind of up with your shirt. They fold it down a little bit, and they just clean it all up there. That does feel unbelievably good. But yeah, the massage thing, I'm in. I'm gonna try to. I thought as I was getting this massage, and I was like, I don't think I was drooling yet, but I was in that. I was just I was like, this is so good. I have to do this every couple weeks is kind of what I started thinking. But then I will say that the massage search process for like the right, massage specialist, masseuse, whatever, is not easy.
It really isn't.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like word of mouth. Maybe you need to go to. I need to ask for some recommendations, but yeah, I was finding it in Arizona a little bit tricky because everything's so SEO now that even when you Google it, I know the first like 5 results are just the people that have paid for it and like the bigger corporate, big massage. And like, so I'm trying to weed through that, but massages are all time.
You just got to ask around, because I did that too. I was trying to go to Massage Envy. I think that's probably the big SEO one where it's like, they're the corporate ones. They got them everywhere, but their times never matched up for me, or they would have no times. They wouldn't have openings until like next February. And I'm like, I can't be doing this right. Like I can't keep doing this. So I asked around the office, and I found one out here on Long Island, and I've been going to that. And it's the less corporate it seems, the better. And that to some people that might sound wrong. I understand.
No, I agree with that.
Some people they're like, oh, Trent likes to go get a rub and tug. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's just an easier process at some of these local places, not to get a rub and tug. I don't even want one of those. I just want a massage. I don't want one.
I don't want one for that. If that started to happen, I would just run out of there. I don't.
I don't. And at the place that I've been going to, they don't do that. I'm glad, because I don't want one. But you do the more local massage places, you get like a repertoire with them. They kind of know what you want. You kind of have a masseuse that you go back to. That's the way to do it, in my experience.
I'm still too. I'm on. The Mani-Pedi is still at large for me. I've still yet to experience a manicure or pedicure. Same. And that's very high on my list. I was going to do it at the spa when I was there, but the timing, like you just said, didn't add up. I could do the massage, but the Mani-Pedi stuff, the timing, I wasn't free that period. But my big issue, I think I spoke about on the show before, is that my feet are insanely ticklish. So I know that when they do the whole thing where they scrape off all the dead skin from the bottom of your feet, I'm going to like kick somebody through the fucking wall because my feet are so ticklish. So I'm very nervous about that. Yet, like the foot massage part of my massage, and that is my favorite thing. Just because, your dogs are barking, man. We're active. We're on our feet a lot more than probably most people that have just like a desk job. We're up, we're traveling, airport, we're on golf courses, whatever. Your feet are just fucking beat to shit. And when you get a good massage on your feet, it just gets all that out there. They feel fantastic. But I am very concerned about how ticklish my feet are, because I'll hurt somebody.
The feet, legs portion of a massage is very underrated. Everyone thinks shoulders, back, neck, even like hands and arms and fingers. Those feel good, but the legs, feet part of it really is like where you're like, all right, this was worth it. The other stuff feels good, but the leg, feet portion is off the charts. I have a question about a Mani-Pedi. I've never got one either. And I've never been brave enough to ask this question to anyone because I was too embarrassed. So I'll just do it on a very public podcast.
Smart.
Do you have to have, like, I clip my nails short. I don't bite my nails. That's something I've gotten over. I clip them very short. Do they have to have something to work with when you go in there? Or can I go in there like this and they still do something? Or do I have to grow them out a little bit and then I'm able to go?
Look, I got to think there's options other than like you can only come out of there looking like a New Jersey housewife with your nails. But I actually don't. I don't know for sure. It's unclear.
Alex Busch, any Mani-Pedi experience?
No, it's kind of crazy that you first thought was that I would know, but no.
No, I didn't think you would know. I'm just saying you're the only other person.
I don't
on
know
here.
this. Yeah, and you've
No.
got an interesting collection of like habits and things that you're into. You're going nuts about Josh Allen one minute, the next minute you're at like a Taylor Swift fan meetup in the West Village. So who knows? You could be into anything, Alex Busch.
Nope,
as you should.
not
It's
into
America.
that.
Okay.
I'm on the Mani-Pedi hunt. Like I want to do it, but I do. That's the one question I have because my nails are so short. My fingernails are so short, and so are my toenails. To be completely honest, I keep those pretty tight, pretty trim.
Me too. We might be able to get that done this week. We might be able to put that on the calendar. I would really like a little Mani-Pedi. I think that'd be a pretty funny video of us getting that too. I also underrated part of the massage is when they lift your arm up for you at the end and like shake it, and I was thinking like there's almost no experience in the world where your arms can be lifted up without you having to do it yourself. Like someone lifting your arms up for you never happens. So when someone does it, it's delightful. It's like,
it is great. Yeah, if you're having that done in any other arena, you're like in some trouble. You're unconscious. You're like getting surgery done maybe. But at a massage, they pick it up. That was another one of my big problems when I would get a massages originally. I wouldn't fight back, but I would sort of like tense up, and they'd be like, "You just got to just let it go." You're not used to just letting your body completely fall and just lay there. Even when you're in bed, you're not like fully just like, "Oh, I'm a pile of blub." You kind of tensed up a little bit. Maybe I'm sleeping wrong, but yeah, when they do that, you're just like, "Oh." It feels amazing. Massages are really, really good. Also, a really good gift. If you're trying to gift somebody something, male or female, whatever, just a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you got, a massage is going to hit every single time.
You get massage at that Russian bathhouse thing that you guys would go to in New York?
I'm not sure if they do massages. What they do is at this Russian bathhouse, I've talked about it before, or I guess a Turkish bathhouse. I don't know the difference.
Turkish.
But there's all these different rooms. There's different levels of sauna. There's a schwitz, which you go into a really hot sauna like you normally would. But in the room are these empty buckets, and there's a spigot on the wall that has cold water come out of it. And when you get really hot, you fill up the bucket and you pour cold water over your head. An amazing experience. If you have that near you, try that out. But in the hottest sauna room, there's levels to it where people sit on different levels, and the higher you go, the hotter it gets. Heat rises, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And what they do is you can pay, you lay down like you're getting a massage, and I don't know how else to describe it. They beat you with these long leaves, and people love it, dude. It's like, I'm sure it's called something. I could look it up right now, but I'm not going to. Yeah. And it looks like it feels okay. It also looks a little painful at times, but you're just up there, you're sweating, and they're. I've seen it a bunch there, and I have not done it yet, but that's the only massage.
People seem to enjoy this leaf beating that they could get at the bathhouse.
Yeah,
there's a degree of massage where people want some pain. Like I think people. I don't know if it just feels like you're working stuff out properly, but people are looking for a little bit of pain sometimes in the massage.
The deep tissue thing, I haven't really done it. I get like the Swedish, which is very normal pressure. It just feels good the whole time. I think there are massages, the deep tissue ones, where it is legitimately painful and you're sore afterwards, where they're just really getting into the knots and the muscles. And it probably feels good to a degree, but I'm pretty sure it hurts at certain points too.
Yeah. Yeah. She, at one point during mine, she's like, how is the pressure? Is it, do you want more? I was like, you go a little bit more. And that was a mistake because they don't take that lightly, and it was too much. But then I was too much of a pussy. Like I didn't want to tell her that I couldn't handle it. So then for that portion of the massage, the next 5 or so minutes, I was like, this actually really hurts and I don't want it to hurt, but I'm not going to say anything to her. So I was not asleep during that part. I was very awake.
That's so amazing because I'm the same way. But if you just say simply, it's maybe a little lighter, they're like, that's totally fine. We think they're going to walk out and be like, this fucking pussy, this guy can't even have a massage that is like a deep tissue. No, they're going to be like, all right, you're paying for a service. I'm going to give you what you want.
I was George Costanza when he's like, I would rather live an entire life in misery than go through the confrontation of breaking up with my fiance. And I was like, I would rather lay here in excruciating pain for however long this part of the massage is going to go than tell her that I can't handle that she's just massaging me a little bit too hard. I couldn't do it.
Paying money for it. You're paying for it.
One driver will be crowned champion of the NASCAR Cup Series, the championship. 4 drivers will put it all on the line as they go head-to-head for the ultimate prize in NASCAR. 4 champions crowned in 3 days at Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix Championship is November 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC. We're going to be at this thing.
We're going to that one. I was like,
experience.
That's the one we're going to. It's going to be my first NASCAR race. I am so excited. I think Large is going to be there. I think Spider's going to be there. Those are our NASCAR guys. I've heard so much about NASCAR races. I think Frankie's been to a couple. I don't know if Riggs, you've been to one, but this will be my first, and I am jacked up. I really cannot wait to go.
I've never been to a NASCAR event, race, anything. I'm insanely excited too. It's here in Phoenix, so it'll be a little bit of a home game for me, but still my first experience. That is the Phoenix Championship NASCAR. It's Sunday, November 5th on NBC at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Frankie looks like he had a hell of a weekend. So his Foo Fighters are his favorite. Foo Fighters.
Yep.
His favorite, his number one, Nate Bargatze, is one of the funniest people on the planet. He is just skyrocketing as a comedian. He's a big golfer. He played in the Barstool Classic. He's been on our show a bunch. He's an insanely nice guy. He's been nothing but great to us whenever we've gone to some shows. Were you part of this weekend, Trent, with what was going on up there?
I actually was not. Frankie and his wife Hannah went. They got tickets, which for people that don't know, it is impossible to get SNL tickets. Frankie got some sort of hookup. I'll let him talk about it if he wants to. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and for this show, Foo Fighters is one of the biggest bands in the world. Nate Bargatze, if you are into stand-up comedy, you very much know who he is and is so funny. And yeah, it's a hard ticket to get, but Frankie went this weekend. First SNL show for him, I think. He's a lifelong New Yorker, but never been to an SNL show. We were texting a little bit this morning, and again, I don't want to step on what he's going to say about it because I think he's coming on later. The names that he was talking about that he met and that he talked to, because here's the thing. He went to the SNL taping or whatever it is. I don't know what you call it. It's live. And then after, there's always these very famous rap parties that people talk about where it's everyone who is anybody in the city or in the SNL world go to these rap parties. And Frankie Borelli was granted access to the rap party. And I'll give one name because I know he's going to talk about it. He had a conversation with Chris Rock. And these are things.
Jesus, what?
It's
what?
Dude. Again, I'm not going to step on it, but it's, yeah, Frankie met some very, very famous people. And he clearly met Dave Grohl. He put that up on Instagram, on Twitter. A+++ pictures that he got with Dave Grohl. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm going to let Frankie tell the rest, but it's very cool. And dude, it's so cool for Nate. And I'm sure Frankie will talk about that too. We've been following Nate for so long. I remember when his special Tennessee Kid went up on Netflix, didn't know who he was. I had no idea. Watched it again, and have been just a huge Nate Bargatze fan ever since. And now he's hosting SNL. And I was thinking about people shit on SNL, myself included. Everybody in our generation and the generations after us are going to shit on SNL. But it is funny, as soon as somebody in your world of entertainment that you like gets SNL and hosts it, it's the biggest fucking deal in the world. And it's rightfully so. Like, I get that SNL maybe isn't what it used to be. I haven't watched it in years, blah, blah, blah. All the tropes that people say about SNL now. But it's still an institution. Like, I grew up watching SNL. I grew up watching the Farley, Rock, Spade era, like it into the Will Ferrells, and then there's the Bill Haders. And like, it's, regardless of how you feel about it, it's still one of the few comedy institutions that exist. One of the very few. So when it's somebody you know, someone you like, and we've got to get to know Nate over the years, he's fucking awesome. So the fact that he got to host SNL, the biggest stars ever have stood on that stage and hosted that show.
Huge to host Saturday Night Live. You just have to. You have to be huge.
But even a guy in Nate's position, and I don't know if you watched the monologue. I watched it this morning.
I haven't.
He goes on stage and he's like, I'm just as surprised. If you're watching this and you're like, what's going on? He's like, I'm just as surprised as you are. So he is, I mean, Nate is famous for sure, but he's like, I can't believe I'm hosting SNL. Like, it's just very cool, man. Like, I really was thinking about that today. Like, SNL gets shit on a ton, but as soon as it happens for somebody in your world, you're like, SNL still fucking matters.
It matters. It's huge. And it does matter in an interesting way, not in like a minute by minute. It's relevant every week. But you're right. Like, you know who's hosting. You see some clips. It's iconic. When we went and was it our first time on Golf Channel when we were on with Matt Janella? And
we were at 30 Rock. Yeah.
We were at 30 Rock. And even the whispers of, as we were being walked through this hallway to this like back dark room that they let us go into, where we didn't really know where to look or what we were doing. There was no actual like screen. We were just kind of there. You got whispers of like, oh, this is actually the same floor down that hallway is Saturday Night Live SNL studio. And we were like, what?
You're right about it not mattering minute to minute anymore. And the internet has taken over. I mean, we at Barstool Sports have done a good bit of that. And Dave has always said he wanted Barstool Sports to be a bit like SNL in that we want the young upcoming talent. And then, wherever you take it here, if you take it and you get a bigger deal, that happened at SNL forever. That was sort of the formula. It's happened at Barstool Sports with the Caller Daddies and the Pat McAfees. And largely Barstool has become like the SNL of the internet era, but there's still SNL. It still exists. It's been around for over 40 years now. And it definitely still matters. And it was big, like what musical actor paired with. That's always a big deal too. The fucking Foo Fighters, the biggest rock band of the last 20 years. Like, that's a real episode. That is, the Foo Fighters are on SNL, and who's going to be the host? Nate Bargatze. That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. The Frankie pictures, Frankie is our picture guy. He just takes great photos of golf courses. And then in this instance, it's almost, there's a few moments in your life when you're taking a picture where you're like, please let me look good and let this photo come out well. It's like, we've had a few moments with Tiger Woods where you're literally thinking in your head, like, please let the footage and please let the photographs from this be awesome. Just one time. All the other ones for the next 10 years, I can look horrific and ugly and the worst. I need this one to be a good one. And Frankie's came out fantastic.
Beautiful. He looks skinny. He's been working on his weight. He's been working out more. Peloton, just sort of eating a little bit better, not eating desserts with me. And he looks great. And he's doing No Shave November, which I guess I'm letting the secret out that he started his No Shave November a week before November. We're recording this. It's October 29th. So he's getting a running start, which is smart for him. So even in that picture, he's got a little bit of a mustache, but it's not taking away from what's going on. He's Dave Grohl's got him by the collar. He looks skinny. He looks chiseled. It's a great picture.
So Frankie's he's going to come on here for the last little bit of the show and obviously talk through all of that. So impossible for us not to bring it up. I saw those pictures come across. He sent a very funny text, basically being like, "I had a night last night, so I need you guys to do some of this. I need you to carry some of the load for me today, and then I'll come in and give the people what they want." So Frankie is going to go through some of that. We've got a little administrative stuff. We got a couple videos coming out this week per usual. The YouTube. We did a lot of YouTube talk last week, so you're probably pretty familiar with what we're talking about at this point. But the Sandbox at Sand Valley is a 17-hole par 3 course built by Core and Crenshaw, and it is diabolical. I mean, there are some holes there that it's only 60 yards. You got this wedge, though. You're wedging it. It's tough to hit wedges off, really, for almost anybody to just clip these 60-yard wedge shots over bunkers and stuff. And we have our friend Jersey Jerry out there. So Jersey Jerry, folks saw him play Dave in a $10,000 grudge match. They saw him out there during the Ryder Cup, which those videos popped off and did incredibly well. And he, being in Chicago, he had the match with Trent against Frankie that everybody loved at Mammoth Dunes. And then we said, you know what, Jersey Jerry, we know you're out here grinding. He's really entertaining to do anything. It's just like the way that he reviews Culver's is off the charts. And so we were like, we got to get this guy and let's put him to the test against the Sandbox at Sand Valley. And I haven't watched the video yet because it hasn't come out. But folks, as we're doing this, folks have been able to go watch it on the Foreplay YouTube. And I can only imagine it's fascinatingly entertaining because I was there for it.
Yeah, no, I was there too. Frankie and I kind of helped caddy with Jersey Jerry, mostly Frankie. There's a lot of ups and downs in that relationship throughout the video. Club choices come into question.
That's
At
true.
one point, and I just remember this, Jersey Jerry almost kills a group of people
Yep.
with a golf ball. And when people are screaming, people are going crazy. Yeah, it's going to be a very entertaining, probably a pretty quick video. But if you just want to watch a guy who, like you just said, if you probably watched him a little bit in the past here, just take on a par 3 course, it's very, very entertaining, and I highly recommend people watch it.
And then Thursday, we got Kirk Minahan. Barstool Golfs is back. Kirk really delivered maybe our most viral video clip of the entire year with the 4 or 5 debate from the Ryder Cup. That video's got like 13 million views on Twitter alone. And Kirk's back. He goes, everybody's seen him at this point, but Barstool Golfs, there's so many different people in the office that play golf, that people want to see out on the golf course. So Frankie takes him out, and I heard, Kirk and I communicate, especially about golf, and he called me right away and told me, about the way that this thing finished. And I really think people are going to watch it because it is emotional, it is intense. He wants to win. He's competitive. He's the mini golf champion. He was, he was melted Francis's brain, who I believe is coming down to the Dominican Republic with us during part of the Ryder Cup. So he obviously can bring it. And Kirk, went all the way down to New York, to Long Island, and said, let's do this thing. And he's on the next episode of Barstool Golf. So the YouTube channel this week is big per usual. And then we're just going to keep adding to it. Our poor goddamn producers and editors. We're just going to film like 6, 7 more videos this week that they're going to have to somehow edit and then get out. And then we just keep doing that all the time. So I don't know how these guys are ever gonna sleep or live a normal life. But that's kind of what we're doing right now.
I'm a little concerned about my entrance to the Dominican Republic because I was checking in on my Delta app today, and I think I did something wrong. There's a few extra steps that you have to take when you're traveling out of the country. I mean, you got your passport, you got to put the number in, there's all these different things. Then you got to sign up for this thing that you have to save to your phone that you're going to show when you get to the Dominican. And it won't. I did something to the point where it won't let me check in on my phone, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to go. I really don't. I think I just did something wrong, and on the piece of paper that is like, all right, this is when you're leaving, this is when you're getting here, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure I filled it out wrong. And once it's filled out, you can't refill it out. So it might just be you guys and Francis in the Dominican. I've been thinking about it since it happened. It happened 5 hours ago. Came on this podcast, said we're going to be going down there. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm not going. I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, leaving the country is more serious than we're probably giving it credit for. Like, we fly all over the place all the time. This one's different. You got to kind of have your ducks in a row. You're leaving, the borders of the United States of America, of Uncle Sam. You kind of need to have stuff ready. So I'm glad you said that, because I got to get that geared up too. My last airport experience, by the way, in Miami, there's a guy at American Airlines who saved my life, basically. I had no business making this last flight. None. Dude, fucking Miami. I looked the day before because I was supposed to drive in the morning. I had to drive from West Palm Beach to Miami to fly direct to Phoenix. Looked the night before. It said 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll give it at least 1 hour and 15 or whatever. I wake up. It took me over 2 hours to get there because
really?
Morning traffic. And it was the worst I've ever seen. It was like this 10-mile stretch where we were bumper to bumper, dead stop for like 20 seconds at a time, and then you would move 1 car length forward, and then 20 seconds, 30 seconds at a time. So, long story short, I get to the rental car return 34 minutes before my flight is supposed to leave.
Oh, you're fucked.
I'm only at the rental car return. It turns out in fucking Miami, you got to go get on this goddamn train, and then this train takes you to all of the terminals, and then you have the longest walk in history. It doesn't even compute that a walk could be this long to get to the check-in spot at American. So I now get there. My flight's at 10 a.m. I get there at 9:40. I arrive at like the kiosk to check in. Okay.
Yep.
And I get up there and I just say, hey, look, I'm really late. I know my bags aren't going to make it. I'm going to make it. So is there any way I can just check in and I can just run, and you put these bags, because this is the end of the trip, not the beginning. Right. You put these bags on whatever airplane you want to put them on. They could come tonight. They could come next week. I don't need them. I don't need them. I just do not need my stuff. I have other clothes at home. I can figure it out with golf clubs. I don't even want to touch my golf clubs for a week. Not a problem. So he's like, we really can't do that. You're not allowed to check in if bags are clearly not going to make it. And it's usually like 45 minutes or something. We're 20 minutes before. So he hooks me up and goes, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I need you to give me those bags. I need you to run. It's D50 is your gate, and the tram is broken. And I'm like, well, that seems like it could be a problem. So he gives me this, he gives me a standby ticket for a later flight. He goes, you have your actual boarding pass from the app, right? And I go, yeah. And he goes, good, because I literally can't give you one now. You're going to need that. I'll handle your bags. I got them on standby on a flight later. You need to run. So I go up there. I do the whole thing where I'm going through like TSA pre. And I say, hey, guys, my flight's in 17 minutes. Is there any way I can just go through? Everybody's very nice. That had the time, no problem. Get through. In fucking Miami Airport, Trent, I'm at D22 is where you get through the security.
Sure.
Okay. But it's one of those airports where every section of like 10 gates is unbelievably long. You can't believe how long it is. I'm running out of gas, and then I'm just walking, and people are like passing me that I was passing because I can't run for that long. But then you got a gate of 10, a stretch of 10 gates, and then the next stretch that should be 10 gates is like a fucking shopping center.
Infuriating.
And so you're running, and I'm not checking off any numbers. I'm like, still, I get to D30, and I'm running forever. I'm running by fucking. There's all this stuff I'm running by, and we're still not at D31. And I'm like, I got to get to D50. What's going on here? So I'm fucking sprinting. It's like 9:46, 9:48. I get there at like 9:51. The door's closed, and I come running up, and I am sweating profusely. And the guy doesn't even hesitate. He just looks at me, and he opens up the rope. He goes, come underneath here. I check my thing. He opens up the door. I go right through, get into my seat, and we take off. I mean, no, I almost didn't even try to make the flight. I almost just went to like a hotel. It was so screwed. So as much shit as I've given American Airlines, there were a couple folks working back there that absolutely saved my life.
Can't believe he opened the door. We had a flight coming out to Arizona that we missed, and then we were on standby, and there weren't enough seats for me. But the morning flight, we got there just as they closed the door. And they acted like it was a bank vault, that they were like, we can't open this thing. No chance. I always thought when the door closed, it's over.
I did too. The only thing that I can think of is that once I got through the door, there was still probably 10 or 12 people backed up in the little tunnel thing there. So they must have just sent those people through, like group 9 boarding group or whatever. But yeah, I thought that too. When I saw the door closed, I was running through. I was like, just please be a door open. Please be a door open. The door was closed. Thought it was screwed. No problem. So then I'm like, all right, I wonder when these bags are going to end up. Ended up, one bag got on the next flight. Another bag got on a flight really late that night. So I just waited till the next morning, went down to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, rolled right in the American baggage office, grabbed my bags, went back to my car, drove home. No issues whatsoever. It was amazing.
Is it a safety concern that they won't do that like on a regular basis? Like there have been times when I've gotten to the airport too late to check my bags, and they don't even think about letting you on. They won't let you get on your flight and have your bags be on the next flight that comes out. Is that because it's like, who knows what's in your bags?
Maybe. Yeah, you can't just, I guess that's probably what it is. They're not allowing you to just store bags on random airplanes. They're like, no, that's like, you need, that might be.
You got to be on the plane that your bags are on, because
your fate's tied to the same as everyone else's, buddy. We're not letting you take a different plane.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But I thought I was screwed. I made it. It was absolutely heroic. And so,
dude, traveling outside the country is different. I did it for the first time when I was the luggage guy for the first time, flying down to Lima, Peru. And there's just a couple extra steps when you land. And I remember fucking this up because it was very secretive. I was going down there to be the luggage guy on The Bachelor. Like, I wasn't telling anybody. I'd signed a bunch of paperwork, and it was just like, all right, let's go down there and we'll fly right back up. It won't be a big deal. But at one point, and I wonder if it'll be the same in the Dominican Republic, they ask you, are you here for business or are you here for pleasure? And I remember being like, I haven't told anybody why I'm here. I don't want to tell anybody why I'm here. Like, I thought it was the biggest secret in the world. In retrospect, I could have just told them like what I was doing there. And I remember saying, oh, I'm here for pleasure. And they sent me to a different room, and they're like, we got to ask you a bunch more questions. So it's like, I'm already nervous about this whole situation because I've fucked it up in the past. And as beautiful as the Dominican Republic is, I'm sure, I just don't think I'm going to see it.
I've never been to the Dominican, so I'm going to get a new stamp which is always nice. You want the new stamps
Me
on
too.
the passport. They usually have to do the card too, right? Like the customs card thing, and then they make you declare stuff. I never know what that means. You got to write like zeros down, and so yeah, we'll have to get through all that. I need a good night's sleep, otherwise I'm gonna fail tomorrow. I got a long, long day of travel tomorrow. I think I leave here at like 9 a.m. local time, and I think I get to the Dominican Republic at like 9 p.m. local time.
Oh,
Yeah.
ours actually isn't bad. We're flying. JFK flies directly to Punta Cana, so I'm getting on at like 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then we land like 4 hours later.
That's delightful.
It's just fucking getting in the morning, and I'm going to Terminal 4 at JFK, and it can take 4 minutes or it can take 4 hours when you're pulling up in an Uber. And I probably got to leave here at like 4:45 to make sure I'm on that flight.
Ooh, buddy, that's going to be a tight one. All right. Well, we're going to bring Frankie on here. He's going to kind of update everybody on his weekend, as I think everybody would love to hear from that. And then, we're going to be back on Thursday. We're going to be live together in the Dominican Republic at Casa De Campo, who've been fantastic in hosting us. So hopefully at that point, we've got a couple massages under our belt. Maybe we've got painted nails, fingernails and toenails. Who the hell knows? But yeah, here's Frankie. And then for me, I probably won't be on later. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Do you struggle to save money every month?
Yep.
Yes. Facts. With Rocket Money, we love Rocket Money, you can quickly identify all those sneaky subscriptions that keep charging you month after month and cancel any you no longer use. It's such an easy way to start saving money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills all in one place. This app is basically a financial lifesaver.
It's incredible. It'll also give you large transaction alerts. And I bring that up because I had one last night. I took a pretty expensive Uber last night. Didn't want to take the train home, so I took one all the way home, Manhattan to Long Island where I live. And this morning I got an email from Rocket Money saying, "You spent a bunch of money on an Uber. Was that you?" And I just said yes, because it was me. But they will send you alerts on these huge transactions. If they're not you, you'll take care of it. You can track your monthly spending. You can do all these things. It really is an app I use on a pretty much a daily basis.
Rocket Money can even negotiate lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you got to do is take a picture of your bill. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/4. That's rocketmoney.com/4. rocketmoney.com/4.
All right, we are now joined by Frankie Borelli, who had himself one hell of a Saturday night. I will say we prefaced this a little bit. We didn't talk too much about it. People know that you were there. I mentioned Chris Rock. It's the only name that I mentioned in the lead up. But I want you to walk me and the listeners through this entire night, please.
Man, it's great to be here. Love this show.
Thanks
Love
for coming.
everything
Hey,
about
thanks
it.
for being here, dude.
Appreciate you guys having me on. You guys know I'm a theatrics guy, and you know that I get swept up in all that shit. I cried at Jimmy Fallon a couple years ago. I knew going in that this may have been a little bit too much to handle, and boy, did I not know what I had coming to me. Never been to SNL before. For being honest, like, the heyday of SNL, we all know, like, it's not as good as it used to be, and I don't think it's crazy. You're not breaking any news by saying that, and it's just a little bit different nowadays. Everyone wants a quick laugh, and we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. This long form comedy, sketch comedy, is hard to really pull off nowadays. We have such short attention spans, and I feel like that's also applying to the talent that they get and all of that. It's like, who's going to dedicate themselves to that type of life when you can just get millions and millions of followers by being a stand-up comedian or whatever?
No, dude, that is something Riggs and I actually did talk about, where it was, they're like tropes now when you talk about SNL, about how bad it is and nobody watches it anymore. It's like, oh, I haven't watched an SNL sketch in years. But what I also said was, it's still a gigantic deal to host SNL. It is still a comedy institution, and it still means something in that regard.
When you're there, you know why it means something. So I saw that Nate Bargatze, and who's our close personal friend, which is insane to say, but he's been on the show a bunch, and we've been able to hang out with him. Great guy, greatest guy on the planet. He's hosting, and the Foo Fighters were the musical guest. It's as if that ticket was curated for Frankie Borelli. I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there, you being one of them for sure. Like, you're a big Nate fan, you like the Foo Fighters. Robbie Fox like would have been just like dying to be at that place, because seeing the Foo Fighters and your favorite comedian all in one setting feels like you actually went to, like, you died in something, like it's a simulation. Like someone's just
Right.
like giving you one last night to enjoy all the things you like to enjoy. Music and comedy are the two things that like we all like use to like advance our days and like live this life. Like, we watch comedy specials at night, we listen to music 24/7, and Foo Fighters and Nate are like what I do. So nuts. I texted my man and our man, Justin Mancini, because I knew I had heard some rumblings that his dad like worked for SNL or something. And I was like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'll just shoot him a text. And I think I was pretty straightforward. I was like, hey, what do you need from me for when you get me these SNL tickets for this Saturday, when the Foo Fighters and Nate Bargatze show up? And he was just like, let me see what I can do. And even that message was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was kidding. Like, that's insane. I can't go to Saturday Night Live. It's the fucking Foo Fighters. It's a Halloween special. There's no chance. And long story short of that process, we end up getting the tickets. And he's like, just wait afterwards, and my dad will come grab you. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, is he a security guard? Like, I just don't know what the story is, right? So
Right.
the beginning, from beginning to end, going to Saturday Night Live is a New York experience. You're
What
just
time
like,
do you get there?
so they say no later than 10 o'clock with the tickets that we had. So we had
Okay.
like pretty like special VIP tickets where like you got to just walk into the building. You go up these stairs. You say you're like they had a bunch of different girls' names, like whatever, Janice and Janet and Megan, and you have to say which line you were on. It was in an email. You sit down in this like lounge, and I was sitting with all like the cast members' parents and a couple of people that I had recognized just from like, famous people that were on the internet or YouTube or whatever. It was a lot of people in this little area. And Dan Soder was there, Katie Nolan. They're just like all of Nate's like podcast was just chilling there, and it's just like free drinks, and just they're walking around just handing you drinks. And everyone that's in the show everyone that's going to the show is also in this too. We were just happened to be on one side of this room, so the experience of like waiting is incredible. You're just like really geared up. They're pumping in oxygen in there, like something's happening. You can hear just like faint DJ music, and that like down this hallway at 30 Rock, in whatever studio 88, whatever it is, that something's happening when you walk down this hallway. And they start to call out letters. So they're like, if you're letter M, you get in the elevator, and you get in this elevator, and you're like, my heart is racing now. Like, you're going down this fucking hallway. You get out of the elevator and you go down this hallway, and it's just all the pictures of every person that's ever been on SNL. And it's Chris Farley, it's Adam Sandler, it's Chris Rock, it's just the Will Ferrell. The list goes on and on and on and on. It's legends, right? Absolute Bill Murray, just legends of the game. And even the right side was all new, and the left side was all black and white. And it was just such a cool like walk down memory lane, and also like all the new people that are there. And then finally you get to this room where it's like, all right, like you're about to go into this place, and just beyond this little wall, this little door, you see like just millions of lights. And like you see like that iconic clock that I was gonna say the iconic clock that like lowers down, and you see it in the first shot where like it goes by that, and then they bring it into the host. You see that just like up in the rafters, and you're like, you don't even know where you're walking in. All of a sudden you walk in, and you're in like, we were in this top level, and the stage, SNL's just there. It's a small room. It looks like it's the size of the content area at Barstool Sports. It's like, I don't know what the numbers are, 200 feet, like maybe like a little league baseball field from like left to right. It's so small. There's 3 stages. There's the band stage. There's like the Foo Fighter stage. There's the house band stage in the middle where Nate starts it off. And then to the right is like a set stage where like, it's kind of like tucked away in the right-hand corner. And that's like where they'll do some sets that are like set. And every other set is like kind of built right in front of that main first stage where Nate does his monologue. So we are it's kind of like chaotic, and I'm just looking around, and there's no phones. Your phones are off, and you're just like in this world now. At 10 o'clock that was. You asked me what time. 10 o'clock that was. So the show doesn't start until 11:30. So it's like an hour and a half of buildup, and it's flying by. It's fucking flying by because there's always things happening. You're on lines. You're like walking in. So we finally sit down, and we get pushed all the way to this corner, second seat from the railing. So there's like 20 floor seats, I'd say, that these people are in the show basically when you're on the floor. They're in
you
the show.
see them when the monologue opens. They're right there.
Oh, and when they build the set, like if you're in the first 4 rows, I think there's only like 5 or 6 rows, like the lights are on you. You're bright light. You're in the same. I can't even imagine sitting on the floor for like those iconic days where like Chris Farley's jumping through the fucking jumping through a desk, and it's a coffee table that's right in front. Like you're literally on the stage. That's nuts.
Wow.
We were up top, which is so we were on the left, and I'm like, oh, we're kind of like tucked over here. I look straight. It's the Foo Fighters stage. I'm telling you. 13 feet away from like where Dave Grohl was going to be singing. I'm staring at it. I'm like, holy fuck. If we were on the right side, we wouldn't see a thing. We are in front of him for a private showing for, you're basically seeing the Foo Fighters play for 200 fucking people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like there's no like reverb. There's no stadiums. There's no stadium amplifiers. It's just the instruments and then their wedges of like, this is what they actually sound like.
Right.
That's Dave Grohl's voice. It's not going through any sort of
You're not
echoing.
at an arena where I can see him better on the TV up there. No,
but
they're right in
sound. It's like they're playing in a basement. They went back to just playing in a basement. The biggest band in the world is playing in a fucking basement. So I'm gearing up, and now all of a sudden, like things are starting to happen. The sets are starting to get built up. You know, like they're starting to build up the intro set. It was the Oval Office. They were going to do a Biden sketch. You can just tell things are happening. The stage hands are starting to move. Clocks are starting to tick down. The lights are starting to get low. The fog is starting to set in. It's starting to feel like a Disney movie a little bit. That smell, you know, that smell, Trent.
Oh, yeah.
That smell, that live action smell is something like you can't recreate it. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney and then SNL set. That you can't. Now I'm starting to feel it. That the jazz, the band, the house band starting to play that saxophonist that's been there for like what feels like 50 years.
Forever.
The guy, you know exactly who he is.
Oh yeah.
He's standing up. He's just fucking wailing on this saxophone. You're like, we're at fucking Saturday Night Live, man. The clock starts to come down. You're like, it's go time. It is go time. The lights get low, and then bam, someone screams 50, and you're like, no way, 40, and everyone starts to get quiet. Bro, when it gets to 30 seconds countdown, the place is dead quiet and all the lights are off. And you're like, something's about to happen here.
Wow.
And all of a sudden they go 15, 10, and then it's just silence. And then what I thought was pretty funny, I'm sure they do it, the person that starts counting it down just goes, he like completely cracked his voice and goes, 5! And everyone laughed. And then all of a sudden we were like into the first thing. So it was like, it almost got you going. Like he completely surprised the crowd. And I'm like on the edge of my fucking seat watching this. It's an amazing first sketch. Christopher Walken walks out and you're like, oh shit. Like now we got special guests. We're in SNL at this point. And I am just beside myself, smiling from ear to ear. The first sketch was great. It was very, very funny. And I don't know if just being there makes you just laugh more. I'm sure it does. Like I'm sure if you're watching it on TV,
dude.
you're like, whatever, it is just a sketch. But when you're there, you're just like, they could say anything and you're dying, you're laughing. I'm just into it. I want to know everything. I'm looking at the guys with the cue cards and I was just amazed by it all. And so that ends. And now you know Nate's coming out, and I was nervous for him, man. I'm thinking, I said to Hannah, I'm with my wife. I said to Hannah, I'm like, can you imagine Nate Bargatze being behind that stage right now? And he's standing behind the door. He's looking down at his feet. He's got a microphone in his hand. He's about to open up that door to a pretty ridiculous scene in the studio alone, let alone when that red light on top of that camera hits. I don't know how many people watch SNL anymore, but at that point, it may go out to millions and millions of people. I don't know, but you're on.
Dude, it doesn't matter like the state of SNL now when it was or how it was in the 90s, whatever. I hope we get to talk to him about it someday. But Nate just back there, knowing the stage you're about to step on, knowing the greats, the legends, just the famous people that have walked through that door, walked onto that stage, and then had to say a bunch of words for 10 minutes. Like, just again, it doesn't matter how you feel about SNL these days. If you even know about SNL and know how much pressure there is and how big of a deal it is to step out there, if I'm Nate, I just puke. I just throw up right on my shoes. And then it's, oh my gosh, Trent or Nate Bargatze forever just threw up on his shoes as soon as he took the stage. I cannot imagine the level of nerves that he had.
To have that composure to be like, it's go time, and to really reel it in, and you're saying these jokes and you know it's new material and you know that you have to nail it because this is not only for the show, but it's your brand and like your comedy career. Everything's on the line. It's not, a cakewalk to go do SNL. You can ruin your career doing it.
Dude,
You're a
it's also-
comedian. You're supposed to be funny, and you go out there, and if you bomb, there's no going back.
It's also for the guys that you came up with. You said Dan Soder's in the audience. Like,
Yes.
they performed together in New York forever. The Joe List, the
Oh.
Mark Normans, this whole crew that you come up with, who I'm sure he has spent the whole week with, being like, I'm doing SNL. And I had heard also that he was running his monologue at the Stand and all these comedy clubs around New York City. Soder's definitely there. Ari Shaffir is
They're
definitely
working
there.
on it with him.
Working on it. Getting off stage, and they're like, here's what you got to do this, do that. That is such a moment for just everyone who you ever performed comedy with. And now they're like, Nate's doing it. He's doing the thing that we never thought any of us would be able to do. And now he's doing it.
Dude, and I got really emotional from the theatrics of Jimmy Fallon. I actually got legitimately emotional watching Nate walk out as if he was one of my best friends achieving something, just because of the little connection we have with Nate Bargatze and how much of a fan we are of him, and watching where he came from, watching old YouTube videos, and just discovering this guy years ago and seeing where he's come from and the grind. And after learning about how hard he's worked at this craft, and now you know a little bit about him personally, and you see him achieve his lifetime goal. Anytime you get to watch someone achieve their lifetime goal and do it and be a part of it, and you're a part of it, to me, that was a pretty special moment. And I'll get to, what happens after, but I was able to tell him, like, I was proud of him out there. And I know we say that a lot about Scotty Scheffler, and anytime we meet,
you're proud of a lot of people.
I am, but like, I really put myself in their shoes, where it's like, man, I'm fucking doing it. I was watching Nate throughout the whole night, and I'm looking at him, and like, even in between sets and in between takes, he's kind of just like staring down, and I'm thinking about what he's thinking about. He's just like, dude, you're in SNL right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's just keep going. Like, it's like when I was at my wedding, and you're like, all right, try and not let it all be a blur. You're doing the thing right now. You're about to have the mother-son dance. You're about to do the whole, like, it's about to happen. And then in 30 years, you're going to look back, and you're going to be like, those were the time. Like, let's go watch those videos. Let's go look at those photos. No, you're in it right now. You're doing it now. And I was thinking about that with Nate, where he's like, he's in SNL, hosting it. May never happen again. He's crushing it. He crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. I honestly haven't watched SNL all year, so I don't want this to be like I'm sucking SNL off because, I went there. I thought this episode was really, really good. I thought Nate, all of his sketches that they end up coming up with were so Nate Bargatze type sketches. They were amazing. We don't have to get into every single one of them, but his monologue was great. It was so just our humor. All the sketches, the George Washington sketch is one of the best sketches I've seen in recent SNL history. I mean, it had to have done well on social because everything that he hit, it's so funny. You got to go watch it. And then the Foo Fighters came on, and that was, I swear to God, dude, Christopher Walken said the Foo Fighters,
dude,
which is fucking nuts because we've watched that clip, Trent, 1,000 fucking times.
We've been talking about that video forever, where it's the one where, Dave Grohl's talking about how Christopher Walken
He's on some podcast, right?
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know. It's just a
Dave
video
Grohl's on some podcast or being interviewed.
Yeah, and he says, Christopher Walken is hosting, so the guest obviously introduces the band, and Christopher Walken asks Dave Grohl, "How do you want me to pronounce Foo Fighters? Like, how do I bring you on?"
He goes, he goes, Christopher Walken knocks on the door and goes, "Hey guys, is the emphasis on the Foo or the Fighters?" And the way Dave Grohl tells the story, he goes, no, now that I think about it, I guess it's the Fighters. So then Christopher Walken, 20 years ago, goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters." And Dave Grohl like almost couldn't play the song because he had never heard anyone say it like that.
We have watched that clip a million times.
I want, can you put in the audio, Alex? We're talking about right now.
There was once when we did Saturday Night Live and Christopher Walken was the host.
Amazing.
He asked us if the accent was on Foo or Fighters. And we know who he is. Like, of course, we know how he speaks. And we said, the accent is on Fighters, actually. He goes up, he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters." Because I knew that's what happened. I was like, don't say, most people say Foo Fighters, but the way Christopher Walken says it, Foo Fighters.
It's one of the best clips of all time. The way that Dave Grohl tells that joke is so funny. So now all of a sudden I see Christopher Walken get ready because we're watching in between the commercial, and I'm tapping head. I'm like, Christopher fucking Walken is about to reintroduce the Foo Fighters for the first time in 20 years, and we're here. And I knew they were going to play music off their new album, and they played their two best songs that I think they have. They absolutely crushed it. Like I said, I'm right there in front of them. I'm tearing up looking at fucking Dave Grohl, knowing that like Taylor Hawkins isn't there, and they're singing songs that he wrote about Taylor Hawkins after he passed away. Like the glass is like, it's literally about Taylor. He's right there on the other side. He's not going to be able to recover, the whole entire deal. Really emotional. They played just so well. They sounded amazing. Dave Grohl sounded amazing. It's just so nice to see them bring rock and roll to live TV like that and crush it. Amazing. So the show comes and goes. I'm smiling ear to ear, complete theatrical boner the entire time. Just like, see a doctor. Like, you know what I mean? 3 hours of
Too
just
long.
pure
Yep.
fucking blood to the lower extremities. And I remember what Justin told me, where he goes, hang around and make sure that security doesn't kick you out because my dad's going to come grab you. Well, I was starting to get nervous about that because we're in like some random part in the upper level. We're not like on the floor. I'm like, is this guy even going to know where we are? The seating process was nightmare. Like, just go grab an empty seat or whatever. Like, it's not like we had seat 1, 2, and 3. Like, he didn't know where the fuck we were. Turns out he did. I look up and there's a man that looks just like Justin Mancini smiling at me, going, sit right there. So he's got these Robert De Niro eyes. He's got these Robert De Niro eyes where he's like, you know, it's just, he is Justin Mancini's dad. And I know that we're talking to a podcast that hundreds of thousands of people listen to. You may not know who we're talking about, but if you knew him, he runs basically with our live events, Lisa and the whole team. He runs the Barstool Classic for us, and he's at every single event, setting it up, getting the travel done. He's a man that wears many hats at Barstool. He's one of our favorite people ever, and he's one of the greatest workers that we've ever had. Anyway, his father grabs us, and now we're with another couple that's friends with Mr. Mancini. And he goes, let's go. Everyone's exiting right. He goes, let's go this way. And we go down this spiral staircase. Now we're on the floor of SNL. He goes, go up there on the stage. He goes, stand on the T that Nate stood on, the little T that's fucking put there with tape. He goes, go stand on there and look around. And he's taking photos of us. He goes, go up on the steps. Act like you're this. He goes, go up on the steps and walk down. Act like you're the fucking host. I'm like, are you kidding me, Mike? What are you, nuts?
Crazy.
We're at SNL, man. Think about the people that walked down those steps. Think about the people that stood there and have hosted Saturday Night Live, and we're up there and we're taking photos. And he's so happy to see our reactions and us live this moment of just New York iconic glory and just excitement and live events. This is what we live for: entertainment, getting entertained. This is incredible that we're up there. So it doesn't end there, dude. He goes, you guys want to grab a drink? And I go, I don't even know what that means. Oh, turns out. So then he goes, let me go grab stuff from my office. So again, I don't really know what he does because Justin really doesn't gloat about it. He doesn't throw it in your face. Takes us to his office. Brother, it was the fucking control room. And he's been doing this damn thing for 25 years.
Listen, I love Justin Mancini. I do. I love him with all of my heart. Every time we're on a trip with him, I'm so happy to see him, and I give him a big hug, and I can't wait till I see him again and I can give him another big hug. He waited way too long. I get that he's maybe trying to be modest. I get that he probably doesn't want people hitting him up for tickets all the time, but hey, we're brothers. We're boys. It's unbelievable. I appreciate the modesty out of Justin Mancini, but your dad apparently is just a big swinging dick at SNL.
Huge, and the nicest man I've ever met. I wanted to kiss him on the lips. I just wanted to grab him at all times and just kiss him because he's the nicest man ever. We're talking about Italy. He's Italian. He's got the whole vibe going. He's flying down to Florida, the whole deal. I don't know how much they want me to talk about his life, but he's an amazing person. That's all I'm going to say. Then he takes me he goes, let's go grab a drink. And I'm like, where's he taking us? Like, are we going to grab a drink on the corner? He goes, we're going to go to this place. We walk in. You know, and this guy has a table. So he walks in. It's the SNL after party. And now I'm shitting my fucking pants because we're walking in and we're thinking, oh, this is the one that like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were at last week. So who the fuck's going to walk in now? We walk in and they overtake a restaurant, just a 2.5 star like Mexican restaurant in New York City. They just buy it out at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the morning. And we're there pretty early. So what do I see when we walk in? All these celebrities and all the cast members walking by us because they have to walk by us to get to where they got to go. I'm talking to the names of Lorne Michaels stops by, says hi to Mike Mancini. Lorne Michaels,
that's his show.
He created it. He created it. 49 years, dude.
Bro, I don't want to get stuck because I want to hear about all the names. Lorne Michaels he's so famous and he's so well known and so integral to like a good portion of my early like comedy life watching
Entertainment
SNL.
in all.
Dude, he's met them all because he hired them all. It's
fuck.
Lorne Michaels, he's like a fake person to me. Like
He's crafted comedy, Trent. He's crafted it from his own brain.
I can't. Lorne Michaels is so, again, I don't have the words for it because he's so a part of everything that like everyone likes in pop culture is like hard to deny. It's impossible to deny. So that's crazy that you met him?
He's just saying hi to Mike, and he's at the table walking by. Chris Rock, another person. Hey, fist bump. I'm hearing Chris Rock's voice, and we're walking around. He's sitting right next to us. Questlove, right there, walks by.
Crazy.
Saying hi to Mike, sitting next to us. Me and Hannah are walking by. We're saying hi to Questlove. At one point, I said to Questlove, the two best drummers in the world are in the same goddamn building. And he laughed. Him and fucking Dave
Frankie
Grohl.
Borelli.
Okay. No. Questlove and fucking Dave Grohl. The two of the best drummers in the world of all time were in the fucking same building. I thought that was unbelievable.
That's so cool.
And he kind of laughed and was like doing his thing. We're going to get a margarita. You hear Chris Rock talking. I didn't have the balls to really like say a lot to Chris Rock. I said like, hey, what's up when he walks by? But like I didn't really know what to say to him. I really, he was a guy that's like not a real person to me. Dave Grohl's not a real person, but I have so much to say to him because I'm such a big diehard fan. Chris Rock to me is like a guy I never thought I'd actually see in real life.
It's probably better to just observe at that point.
We were observing
just
the
like,
fuck out of this place.
Fuck, man. Yeah, like what you're not gonna say anything to Chris Rock that first of all he's never heard before or that like he's gonna find super interesting. It's just like Chris Rock is right there. That's unbelievable.
It was incredible. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's like Colin Jost comes over and he like knows like about Barstool and he's a big golf guy and he's going to start like doing a tournament on Staten Island. It's like we should come and he like wants to play golf and it's like so this kid I think it's Marcelo Hernandez. He's a young SNL cast member and he was a huge Barstool fan. He noticed me and came up to me and he's like, dude, like he said hi to Mike and then he's like, oh, I fucking know Frankie Borelli. And he's like, he had a funny story about meeting Dave. He was showing him that he used to do empanada reviews and show Dave and Dave's like, I don't really care. And just kept walking because he's like, I don't know who you are. You're just a kid on the street. Just telling me you do empanada reviews. And he tells the story so funny, dude, the way he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go fuck. Like, yeah, he had no idea what to do in front of Dave. Meanwhile, he's on SNL. Like he's a fucking big star.
Right.
He was like facilitating, like letting people know, like he's bringing Colin Jost over being like, dude, let's all golf. And I'm getting numbers and we're fucking texting now. And it's just like, we're going to golf. And it's like, it's nuts. And he's really just helped me out with like who I should play golf with and who I should meet.
Great.
And as I'm doing that, my head's spinning at this point. We'd only been there for like a half an hour and we're just kind of I'm getting my feet like grounded at this fucking party because it's a lot for me to fucking handle. I'm not supposed to be in there. I'm making pizza 7 years ago. I'm not supposed to be in that room. I'm talking to him and someone like taps me on the shoulder and steps in the middle while we're talking. It's Nate Bargatze. And he goes, like, he saw me because I tagged him in an Instagram story and I saw that he saw it like right after the show had ended. And then I didn't check my phone. So I didn't know if he had like responded or whatever. I basically was like, it doesn't get better than this. I took a picture of my ticket. So I think he knew that I was at the show at that point. And he saw me at the show, grabbed me, and I'm in front of Mike, who's the Don, and I'm in front of all these cast members. And Nate grabs me. He's like, dude, so nice to see you. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, Nate, like, I hug him, and I'm like, you fucking did it, dude. I almost cried right there. I'm like, you did it. And he's like, so appreciative that I was there. And that I said to him, I said, dude, I pulled every card and every string I could get my hands on, aka I called Justin. I said, I needed to be here. I needed to be here to see you do this. I needed to be here to see the Foo Fighters. I needed to be here for your moment because I'm such a big fan. I'm so invested in your career because I think you're so fucking talented and you deserve this. And he was just like blown away. He's just like, thank you. Like so appreciative. Yeah. And as that's happening, like Mike and all these guys are like, bro, like who's Frankie? Like, why are people knowing who Frank? Because Nate came up to me. I'm like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
So as that's happening, Hannah taps me on the shoulder and goes, look behind you. And I I said, tell me it's fucking Dave Grohl, dude. You know what? Look, if you're looking on YouTube, look at, like, I've got Dave Grohl up in the rafters next to Kurt Cobain. Like,
you're a Dave Grohl sicko.
It's, it's just, you talk about Nirvana, one of the best drummers of all time. He's a drummer on Queens of the Stone Age. No one knows is one of my favorite drum songs. It's fucking Dave Grohl on the drums. And then Foo Fighters, the whole first album, he plays every single instrument. I've loved him ever since I first heard the Foo Fighters, and I've just listened to every single song a million times. All I listen to 24/7. I love their new album. I love the first album and everything in between. and just things that Dave does aside from music, and just like, or aside from like the Foo Fighters, where he did a song called Play on YouTube, and I should, everyone should go watch it. It's him playing like 13 different instruments all at the same time for like 25 straight minutes. And in the beginning of the YouTube video, he basically explains that if he messed up, he would start from the beginning. So it's one take from beginning to end, all the instruments, and he plays them all perfectly synchronized. And it's one of the greatest rock performances you'll see without any singing. It's just like ba-da-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-bum. And I'm just like, I've probably watched it 1,000 times. I could play every single beat in my head to where the whole song goes for 25 straight minutes. So she taps me on the fucking shoulder, and she goes on the leg, because I'm talking this way, and she goes, "Dave Grohl's behind you." And I said, "Holy fuck." And he's wearing a hat, and he just like doesn't look like the Dave Grohl on the stage. He looks like Dave Grohl that's at the after party of SNL. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm seeing him in person. I've been to 4 Foo Fighters shows, saw him previously that night at SNL, and still couldn't believe that I was seeing him in person, if that makes any sense. Like, I'd seen him in person before, but up on a stage as a hero, not drinking a Modelo, like I'd never seen him there just talking to people. The first couple, like I'd say the first hour was nerve wracking for me. I nervously drank 4 or 5 margaritas as I kind of, how like we get around people that we really want to meet, because we're still fucking weirdos, and we're still like normal fucking people that get nervous to meet like celebrities and people that matter to us. And I was just like nervously walking around this room, sipping and staring and being like, when am I going to get in there and say hi? Because if I didn't, it's over for me. If I'm in that room with Dave Grohl and I don't say something, it's over. The rest of my life is over.
You have to. And it's different. We talked about Chris Rock earlier. Like you said, you have something you want to say to Dave Grohl.
Yeah,
just
so
like you want to meet him.
I didn't really know what I wanted to say. I've thought about that moment for like my whole life. And I even texted Robbie Fox at like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, bro, I think I'm about to meet Dave. I don't know what to say to him. Like, I have always thought about this moment, and I was blanking. So I finally see this moment to go grab him, and he had just gotten done talking. And it's so weird to say that, because this guy's so fucking famous and popular that like you have to find the moment that he stops talking to another person to just like grab his attention.
Everybody wants to talk to Dave Grohl.
And he was so nice. You could just tell that he was talking to every single person that came up to him, because every person in there is like somebody of like we're the only fucking idiots that probably weren't even supposed to be in there, because we're just fucking Frankie Borelli and his wife, and like everyone else is a cast member. So he's talking to everybody in there like he's their best friend. Right. And I go up to him, and he locks eyes with me, and it was like, dude, looking at it's same with Tiger Woods, looking him in the eyes and knowing that he's hearing the words I'm saying to him. I almost froze. Like I couldn't get the words out at first.
There's nothing. Tiger Woods is a perfect example of, you've been following a guy forever. The guy has seen everything. Yep. Like, just the moments that Dave Grohl and Tiger Woods have seen through their eyes. I mean, Dave Grohl has performed in front of just the biggest crowds ever. And he jumped from Nirvana to Foo Fighters, and it was just this whole thing, and he stayed relevant. He's an incredible musician, and he's just seen it all. He's literally done everything. Rockstar. And now he's looking at Frankie Borelli.
And now I have his attention. The amount of people that have had his attention over his life, and the amount of important people that have had his attention, now it's my turn. Really weighed heavy on me. And
I get it.
And something just clicked where I was like, hey, Dave, if I didn't say hi to you, I wouldn't have been able to, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. You've been honestly an inspiration for me. I know you hear that a lot, but everything that you've done has meant a lot to me. And I just wanted to thank you in person and shake your hand. He looks at me and just goes, dude, he said like, dude, thank you very much. And like patted me on the shoulder and goes, cheers. And I was like, cheers. And we fucking kind of just gave each other a little cheers. And I walked away. So that was it. No photo, no nothing. Right. Hannah grabbed a photo of us talking, and I was so happy about that. I'm like, I cannot believe you got us shaking each other's hand, because you could tell he was so into it. And like, it's one of the greatest moments ever captured of me and in my life. And I'll forever be grateful that she took that photo. So we get back to the table, and we're with Mike, and Mike's giving me the Robert De Niro eyes. He's like, you fucking kidding me? You met Dave Grohl? Like, he's going crazy. And he's like, of course you met Dave Grohl. You're at the fucking SNL party. And we're joking, we're laughing. And then the woman that is with us, Mike's friend and his family friends, her and her husband, they're like, you got to get a photo. You got to get a photo with this guy. Like, come on, like, let's go. She's like my guardian angel of the night. She grabs me and she goes, this is about 2 hours later. It's like 4:30 in the morning now, 5:00 in the morning.
Holy shit.
Oh, dude, I slept for 25 minutes last night.
You weren't kidding. I thought you were joking.
No, 4:30 in the morning this was.
Oh my God.
She goes, because I was like, yeah. We were there for a while.
Are people taking pictures, by the way? Like, what's the
No, not
what are
really.
the rules at the after
I don't know,
party?
but
Okay.
I knew that not that many people were taking pictures. And she basically grabbed me and she goes, "Let's go over there." Because I was like, "No, I already did it. I did the thing." And she's like, "Well, my husband wants to meet him." And he's just like, he was just standing there at this point. And he's kind of just talking to people and saying hi. And fucking Pat Smear from the Foo Fighters is back there, and Shiflet and Chris Shiflet and all the band members are right behind him. And Rami, it was incredible. And I walked over there and she's talking to him and he's so engaged in the conversation because like she must have said something funny about the husband. I think they like both peed in the bathroom together and like the husband made it awkward and he was kind of cracking up about it. And so he gets a photo and Dave like chokes him out and does the photo. And she's like, "All right." She goes, "And this kid behind you is going to like kill himself if he doesn't get like a true photo with you." And he looked at me and goes, "Oh," and, like he had known that I had just said hi to him a couple hours ago. And I'm like, "Dude, I know." I'm like, honestly, I didn't express how big of a moment that was for me before. I said, and now we're talking. And now he's like a little bit more receptive. Now me and David are just talking. I said, "Dude, you want to know how much of a," and I said, this is wherefore I said, "You know what? You want to know how much of a sicko I am?" I said, I could probably hum or play your 25-minute drum solo to you right now." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." And I go, and I do the 4 hi-hats. I go, tss, tss, tss. And he goes, "No way." And he starts laughing. He laughed. He goes, "Oh my God. Like, you're a sicko. Like, you are a sicko." And I did it. I did the fucking, any drummer that's ever talked to a drummer, you like hit on your chest or you hit on your fucking, on your lap, or you do a little something and you know how to like express what tom-toms you're hitting or what you can kind of like play the drums with your mouth. And I did it to Dave Grohl, dude. And he fucking loved it. He fucking loved it.
Holy shit.
So I go, I said, honestly, you make music that matters to you and that matters to me. And he goes, "That's all I know how to do." He goes, I have to. And I started to tear up. I'm like, this is fucking nuts. I almost said like, "I'm sorry about like I almost went crazy." And I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't get too fucking sappy because it was fucking. No, I felt like he was going to start swooping me up and we were just going to like live forever together. But I did not do that. And he goes, "All right, let's take a photo." He's like, "This kid's going to start like making me cry or something. It's going to be weird." So so he grabs my shirt. I took the photo. Also, I have this ridiculous mustache because I said I'm going to do fucking No Shave November. You want to know something about this mustache that I really can't grow that great? The last few times I've had a mustache, number one, the New York Islanders made back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals while I had a mustache.
Yep.
I went to the Oval Office and we met Donald Trump with Dave Portnoy while he was a sitting president while I had a mustache. And now I've met Dave Grohl with a mustache. Something's going on with this lip sweater. Like when this thing grows, I meet crazy people and things happen.
Dude, I mean, that you look great in that picture. It's one of the better pictures you've ever taken. And the mustache isn't crazy. Like, you have to kind of zoom in to see it. I mean, you looked skinny.
It's the best photo of me ever.
It's so good.
I'm so happy. I think that's what pure happiness looks like. I think
that's true. You're like actually feeling the feeling.
I think it's pure happiness. So he does the photo and then Hannah takes a photo with him. She takes a selfie with him, which is incredible. It's an amazing photo. And she takes it and I go, "This is my wife." And he goes, "Oh," and I go, "Yeah, I do good." And he like he looks at me and he goes, "Why don't you go home and make a baby?" Like the way he said it. And I was just like, bro, Dave Grohl just told us to go fuck. Like this is rock star shit. And he couldn't have been cooler, man. Like he just couldn't have been a cooler dude. And it like makes me emotional just thinking about it. Like that is everything I've ever wanted him to be. He is he's a special guy in my life. And I think music has that way with people. I think you can find those people in your lives that like, you know, whatever it may be. I don't know why I gravitated towards Foo Fighters. I don't know why I gravitated towards Nirvana. Probably because they're fucking amazing, one of the best bands of all time. But Dave's been my guy for as long as I can remember. And I'm a drummer and I've watched videos of him. I've tried to learn his triplet forms and I've tried to learn every single thing, the way that he holds a fucking drumstick, the height that he fucking has his snare. I've tried to emulate a lot of things that Dave Grohl does. And the fact that I was able to meet that man just makes me so fucking happy and feel so stupid that I've gotten to do this in my life. Like where I was fucking working at a pizza shop. I would never have gotten out of East Meadow in a second, but if it wasn't for Dave Portnoy and his insane brain, now I'm meeting fucking Dave Grohl. It's just like a lot of it makes me feel a little bit like bad. Like I almost feel like it's what's that like complex where it's like You feel like
imposter
syndrome where you're just like, what the fuck am I doing here and doing this? Like, I almost was like sick to my stomach last night that I got to, because that was it. That was my white whale. That was my guy. If I meet Derek Jeter, I'm going to collapse. Like, that's the last guy. That's it. It's over. It's done. It's done. It's over. We met Tiger Woods and Dave Grohl. If I meet Derek Jeter, I'm going to fucking, I don't know. I'm just going to like unravel like something out of the boys. I'm going to explode into a million pieces of chunk. So
no, dude, that's
it,
incredible.
Man. That's the fucking that we got home at 6:45 in the morning, and Hannah's family came over to make Sunday sauce. They were teaching her like us their way of making sauce, and they got here at 10 a.m. I went to sleep. I got like 2 hours of sleep. Nightmare. And then the Jets won like the most improbable game of all time. Just a really cool 24 hours.
And then you got to get on a plane to go to the Dominican Republic.
We're going to fucking Punta Cana in like 6 hours. So yeah, that's what's happening.
Dude, that's so cool. That's like what an experience for you to have.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets. SNL, Nate, Foo Fighters.
Just, yeah, special. Really special night. And shout out to the Mancinis, man. Like, it's just he's that guy is the real deal. And I'd love to have a drink and dinner with him again, just to really like, I want to hear this guy's stories. He worked for CBS for like 20 years. Then he's been working for SNL for like 11 years. And it's just like, it's a lot to handle with how integral he is to putting on live television and news. Like he is a pretty big part of like the entertainment that we watched over years. And
we also got to get Nate on at some point. We don't have to have him on. I just want to talk
to him.
When
I said bye to him, I didn't talk to him about the experience. When I said bye to him, I said, let's talk soon, maybe on the golf course. I want to hear this whole thing. Like that moment standing behind the curtain. I want to know everything. So we should have him on the show.
Even when they reach out to you, like who reaches out?
I want to know everything.
You want to host SNL? It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I want to know everything. So yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to go get some sleep. But, if people enjoyed this story of me meeting my hero, I think that's cool. It also makes me feel a little bit weird that I'm like gloating about like the greatest I've ever had. I wish everyone could have that experience. Hopefully people do have that experience where you get to meet the person that you've always wanted to meet. And I don't know. It's just something that I really can't handle well. It's the whole entire day was just a lot. It's a lot. So incredible. Fucking Dave Grohl, man. Like when you saw that picture, what did you fucking think? Because you know what fucking Dave means.
I couldn't believe it. Like because you and I had texted a little bit before because you were like, Dan Soder's here and we love Dan Soder. Yeah. Like we're huge fans. And you're like, this is all just like a lot for me to handle. And then that was at like 10:30 last night. And then you were completely
off the map.
We didn't talk because I figured you didn't have your phone and you were busy. And I just figured you went to the show, you saw the Foo Fighters, you saw Nate, and then you went back to Long Island and you went to bed.
No.
And then I saw you put up a picture meeting Dave Grohl and I was like, okay, he was at the after party. So that's a whole other like situation. I couldn't believe it. And I knew that's your guy. We all have our guys. Tiger Woods is obviously our guy, but like you're a huge music guy. You're literally a drummer. Did you say that to Dave Grohl? I'm in a band.
I didn't, but he had to have known because I did the play thing, and I said I listened. I can play it all in my head, and he really loved it. I should have said I'm a drummer, but it's like I don't know.
You're in a band. You're in a pop punk band.
Yeah, it's it's stunning stuff, guys. Like truly, and thank you for giving me the platform on the show to talk about it. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for coming on. We've been big fans for a long time.
Yeah,
so we appreciate
I appreciate that. And I think that's it. That's enough Frankie talk for the last 40 minutes. So,
all right, the next time you hear us, we will be live in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Casa De Campo.
So we will see you guys Thursday. Hit it hard.